Hello again. Before we go on, there's just time to mention that our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Fernand Bouillon, and Harry Breur. It's performed by Jean-Jacques Perret, who has kindly given his permission for us to use it. And now here's Angela with some sport.
Enfield Town's poor run continued on New Year's Day when they suffered a 1-0 defeat at Wingate and Finchley in the Ryman Premier Division. Town won 6 successive league games between late October and early December to climb to the brink of the playoff places, but they have lost 5 out of their 6 matches since then, including the last 4, to slip back down into 12th place in the table. There was little to choose between the sides for much of the clash at Wingate, but it was the hosts who created the better chances, and Scott Shulton's goal on the hour was enough for them to seal all 3 points. Steve Hutchinson scored the only goal as Enfield 1893 made a winning start to 2015 by recording a 1-0 victory at home to Southend Manor in the Essex Senior League on Tuesday the 6th. The E's had not had a scheduled match on the Saturday before, and the poor weather prior to that meant that they had not taken to the field since December the 13th. Following their inactivity, the hosts understandably took some time to get into their stride, but they eventually gained the upper hand, and Hutchinson struck the decisive blow in the 79th minute to lift them up to 15th in the table. Enfield 1893 faces Trips to Stansted on Saturday the 10th and Hullsbridge Sports on Tuesday the 13th. Meanwhile, Cockfosters will visit Enfield Town in the semi-finals of the Middlesex Charity Cup after edging to a 2-1 victory at home to Staines Lammas in the last 8 of the competition on Tuesday the 6th.
And some rugby. Saracens held firm in the face of a strong fight back from Newcastle to edge to a 25-23 victory at Kingstown Park in the Aviva Premiership on Saturday the 27th of December. The visitors looked set for a comfortable win when they led 25-13 with time running out. Newcastle came storming back as Chris Harris scored 2 tries in the closing stages, but Juan Pablo Socino missed a conversion with the final kick of the match, which would have seen them snatch a draw. Neil de Kock, Nick Tompkins and Chris Ashton all crossed the line for Sarries, with the rest of their points coming from the boot of Owen Farrell. Saracens climbed up to 3rd in the table as a result of the win. David Strettle scored a brace of tries as Saracens eased to a 22-6 victory at home to London Irish, also in the Aviva Premiership, in dreadful conditions on Saturday the 3rd of January, with a strong wind and heavy rain making life difficult for the players. Sarries did well to open up an 11-0 lead, courtesy of a Strettle try and 2 Owen Farrell penalties, by the interval after having the elements against them in the first half. 2 penalties from Tom Homer early in the second period saw struggling Irish briefly threaten a comeback, but Farrell cancelled these out with 2 more penalties before Strettle made sure of victory for the hosts by touching down again with 18 minutes remaining.
And now for some table tennis. Rising star Denise Payet enjoyed some encouraging results when she competed in the Junior Masters event in Harlow over the weekend. A total of 12 boys and 12 girls took part in the round-robin tournament, and 13-year-old Payet from Enfield was the youngest girl who competed in the event, with the oldest being 17. Payet, who is a member of the Ellenborough Table Tennis Club in Enfield, was seeded 4th and won 6 of her 11 matches to finish in 7th place. The girls' event was won by reigning national junior champion Maria Sapsinos, who won all 11 of her matches without dropping a set. Payet has enjoyed a succession of impressive results in recent years, and she was a double winner at the National Cadet Championships in November, taking both the singles and doubles titles.
A former councillor and chief executive of an ethical finance company has been recognised in the Queen's New Year's Honours List. Peter Lovell of Bush Hill Park has been made an MBE in recognition of his commitment to business development and financial inclusion in North London. The father of 3 is currently the chief executive of North London Credit Union and Financing Enterprise, and was one of the founding members of the union in 1994. He served on Enfield Borough Council as a councillor for Highfield Ward between 1986 and 1990. Mr. Lovell currently runs a group of not-for-profit companies that provide personal and business finance and support in an affordable, ethical way with the needs of local people at its heart. A former student at Tottenham Technical College, he began his career working for Barclays Bank, but was seconded to the London Enterprise Agency. He said, "I just really enjoyed what they did there and decided to do that sort of work, so I left the bank. I think they were a bit annoyed, having paid my salary for a few years." From there, Mr. Lovell spent some time running a minicab company in Enfield. He said, "We all thought cab licensing would open up the market, but sadly it didn't work out. It was hard to find good drivers, and we sold up." On hearing that he was to receive an MBE, Mr. Lovell said he was surprised and obviously incredibly honoured. He added, "I'm very lucky to have had great support around me and to have worked with colleagues and partners who have had the same objectives that I have always had, to make North London a community that offers opportunities to all its residents and is an attractive place to start and grow your business." Honours have also been awarded to John Ayres, a special constable in the Metropolitan Police, who receives the British Empire Medal, and Raymond Kathleen. Mr. Kathleen, who works in the business support team at the Department of Work and Pensions, receives an OBE for services to job seekers. For services to job seekers and improving community diversity.
A grandmother who has spent more than 3 decades helping excitable children burn off steam at a brownie group is among those to receive a prize on the New Year's Honours List. Doreen Oldham of Ulster Gardens, Palmer's Green, receives the British Empire Medal for her work with the Brownie Guides at St Monica's Church in Stonehenge Road. The 70-year-old became a brown owl, the leader of the Brownie group, 30 years ago when her daughters Tessa and Claire joined. Mrs. Oldham said, "They needed someone, so I stepped in, and I loved it so much, and I never wanted to leave. It's great being with the kids and seeing them grow. They're so shy when they start, but they come out of their shell when they've been with you for a while. It's amazing. The children are very excitable, but generally speaking, they all enjoy themselves. Sure, they can be a bit noisy, but that's kids all over, and that's what I love about it." Mrs. Oldham spends hours each week organising fairs, charity events, parties, jumble sales and lunch clubs at the church, where she is a member. She also runs the Repository, a shop in the church selling candles, statues and cards. Mrs. Oldham, who says helping up with her 6 grandchildren is her full-time job, and she added, "It's great when everything at the church comes together. When you organise something, you always worry it might not be all right, but we get a good team of people to help us. You build friendships too, which makes it worthwhile." She was nominated for the honour by a mother of one of the girls who attends the Brownie Guide Club. She added, "I found out a month ago and I had to sit down. I was so surprised, to put it mildly. It was confidential, so I couldn't tell anyone. I had to wait a while to fill in the form to accept it because I was so overwhelmed, but I am very grateful."
A planning enforcement officer by day and volunteer crime fighter by night has been honoured for his years of service to London's finest. John Ayres, 63, lives in Enfield with his wife, and while his day job involves clamping down on planning violations, since 1970 he has devoted his spare time to volunteering as a special constable in boroughs across north-east London. Explaining how he felt when the envelope containing the news that he was going to be awarded a British Empire Medal dropped on his doormat in November, he said, "I was very surprised, of course, and very, very pleased and proud. The letter said that I had to keep it under wraps, that I had been nominated for this, and there are so many friends and colleagues who I knew would be pleased that I really wanted to tell someone, but I just thought I daren't." He first volunteered to serve as a special constable in 1970 after being turned down by the regular police because he was just 1.5 inches shy of the minimum height requirement of 5 foot 8 inches. After almost 45 years on the force, he has walked the beat around Edmonton, Tottenham and Walthamstow. Reflecting on his decades on the force, he explained, "Policing has changed to reflect how society has changed." And he says the reason he has stuck with it for so many years is because he loves helping people. "It is a good feeling, the sense that you are helping a community," he said. John insists that even after the honour, he will not be slowing down any time soon. "Sometimes on a weekend I do a 12 or 14-hour day, but if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't go back every week, and I still do," he added.
A doctor will play a key role in the 50th anniversary commemoration of Sir Winston Churchill's funeral. Consultant General and Vascular Surgeon Rodney Croft, who practices at BMI the Cavell Hospital, will open Tower Bridge as the boat that carried Churchill during his funeral in 1965 passes up the Thames. The commemoration ceremony on January the 30th, 2015, will exactly mirror the original date and timings of the funeral 50 years ago. Mr. Croft was asked to take part in a remembrance service after publishing a history book, Churchill's Final Farewell, on the leader's life and death. His contribution to the study of Churchill's life was recognised after an employee of the City of London Corporation read an article on Mr. Croft and his book in the Independent's sister paper, The Guardian series. Mr. Croft said it was a great honour to be asked to take part in the ceremony. He added, "The boat used in the service isn't large, so opening the bridge is more of a symbolic salute to the memory of Sir Winston Churchill. I expect the whole day will be extremely moving, but a great tribute to his memory and lasting impact in British and world history." During the service, Mr. Croft will be based in the control room at Tower Bridge and will be responsible for the 8-minute process of closing the bridge, which involves halting the traffic crossing the Thames, raising the bridge's 2,200-ton arms, and then lowering them after the boat has passed. Phillip, Executive Director at BMI the Cavell Hospital, said Mr. Croft's colleagues were delighted with his selection. He said, "Being involved in such a prestigious event is an amazing achievement, but richly deserved."
A man was rescued when a fire began in his flat in Enfield. The blaze took place in Burncroft Avenue in the early hours of Monday morning. The smoke alarm in the flat had been disconnected, and fire crews found the man in his bedroom overcome by smoke. They brought him out of the flat and gave him first aid before the London ambulance service arrived. Part of the ground floor flat was damaged by the blaze, but there was heavy smoke throughout the property. Crew manager Lee Davis, who was at the scene, said, "There is little point in having a smoke alarm if it doesn't work. The man was incredibly lucky, and I would urge everyone to start the new year by checking their smoke alarm works. We believe that the fire was caused by the careless disposal of cigarettes. Make sure you always put your cigarettes right out before going to bed."
Thousands of the borough's residents are unaware that they suffer from a potentially lethal health condition, according to medics. As many as 26,000 Enfield residents don't know they suffer from high blood pressure. Enfield Council Public Health Team estimates how many residents don't know they have high blood pressure, which has no symptoms but can cause a stroke or heart attack, leading to death at any time. It's a ticking time bomb, and the council is advising residents to get their blood pressure checked and make lifestyle changes to reduce the risk. Public Health England has published a high blood pressure action plan offering advice and guidance on the effective identification, treatment and prevention of this serious disorder. If high blood pressure is not identified, it cannot be controlled, and its consequences are estimated to cost the NHS over $2 billion every year. Rohini Simbodial, the Council's Cabinet Member for Leisure, Culture, Sport and Youth and Public Health, said, "It is not just the financial cost that's of concern to us, but the real cost of human suffering. I want to reduce the message that diet, weight and exercise are I want to reinforce the messages that diet, weight and exercise are some of the ways to tackle it. The stark facts about high blood pressure cases in Enfield are astonishing. More than 40,000 people have been diagnosed with it, and of these, 9,000 are not controlled or monitored. Some little changes can help you keep healthy. Don't let the blood pressure get to you, and don't let a silent killer take over.
A new project has been launched to help people keep warm this winter. Launched by Enfield Citizens Advice Bureau, CAB, on Monday, the project known as HEAT, H-E-E-T, will see up to 50 homes benefit from a free package of repairs and improvements between January and March. Funding from Enfield Borough Council's Keep Warm, Keep Safe project will pay for an energy professional to make a home visit to assess what is needed to keep the home warmer and cheaper to heat, and will fit what is required at no cost. Jill Harrison, Chief Executive Officer of Enfield CAB, and Tom Ruxton, founder of HEAT, said in a joint statement, "We are delighted to be offering these free services to the people of Enfield. If you or someone you know is older, disabled, or has a chronic health condition, contact CAB on 0208 375 4170, that's 0208 375 4170, or email info@enfieldcab.org.uk with the subject line Warm Homes, and they will arrange for HEAT to come round and help keep your home warm this winter.
31 people have been made redundant at CityLink's Edmonton depot. They were made redundant on New Year's Eve, while 5 workers have been kept on to deal with outstanding parcels at the courier and parcel delivery firm's depot at Bestway Business Park in Ardra Road. The firm went into administration on Christmas Eve, and the company's 2,727 employees were told to brace themselves for large numbers of redundancies before they were sent home. The administrators have written to all 2,356 people who have lost their jobs, confirming their fate and providing details of how to claim redundancy and notice period. An offer made by a consortium to buy the business was rejected by administrators as it had significantly undervalued the assets. Hunter Kelly, joint administrator of CityLink Limited, said the company endured substantial losses which ultimately became too great for it to continue as a going concern. The RMT's General Secretary, Mick Cash, slammed the company's collapse. He said, "The CityLink Christmas destruction is an act of industrial vandalism that shames our nation, while the government looked on and offered nothing but hollow words." The union said the company's closure meant that workers were facing a human tragedy, and some employees had lost thousands of pounds. The RMT's Jeff Martin said he did not expect the jobs for CityLink's remaining workers to last for long. "We are talking weeks before the whole lot goes," he added. Another courier company, TNT, has urged CityLink workers to get in touch with them.
Health services in Enfield will receive one of the biggest budget increases in the NHS. Enfield Clinical Commissioning Group's allocation will rise to more than £360 million in the year 2015-16 autumn statement. The 7.1% increase is one of the biggest of any clinical commissioning group, the GP-run bodies that pay for healthcare. A spokesman for the CCG said, "We are pleased that the funding allocations from NHS England will result in an above-inflationary increase in budget for Enfield CCG. This increase from April 2015 will allow us to continue with our plans to improve local health services and ensure that the services we commission are designed and delivered around the needs of our patients." This news comes alongside the recent announcement that the Urgent Care Centre at Chase Farm Hospital will have extended opening hours of 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week from late December 2014. The CCG will be working closely with our partners across the local health economy to ensure that we continue to get the best value for every NHS pound we spend.
A stunning display featuring a people-powered green steam engine, a golden bicycle and towering chimneys helped Enfield scoop first prize in the London New Year's Day parade. The borough's entry in this year's parade took £7,500 as a top prize and was created by Edmonton-based Art Start, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary in 2015. This year's event was on the 29th Festival and took the theme of London on the Move. It involved 8,500 performers from the UK and overseas and was watched by an estimated 550,000 spectators who lined the 2.2-mile route from Green Park to Westminster. Art Start manager Debbie Dean said its designers created an entry called Under Your Steam to give you the parade, a special Enfield twist. It paid tribute to products made in Enfield's factories, including electric light bulbs from Ponders End and radio valves. They were inspired by steampunks, a subculture which celebrates our industrial heritage, and created a golden bicycle using recycled wheels, cogs and chimney. People who attended Enfield's Christmas parade in the town centre got a sneak preview of the display, and the Art Start team spent days between Christmas and New Year creating the rest of the costumes and machines at their base in South Way. Miss Dean said it demonstrated Enfield industry and invention of moving into a new period of cycle power. A team of 20 people created the displays and costumes, and 30 performers took to the streets in costumes inspired by Jules Verne. Characters included the aviator, the inventor, the musician, and the steam engineer, with children playing the role of apprentices using giant telescopes to look for inspiration on the streets of London. Judges were looking for originality, performance, and how the theme developed.
Disabled access will be improved at a station after it received money from the government. Palmer's Green Station in Alderman's Hill is one of 26 train stations in the UK to benefit from £60 million funding grant to train operator Great Northern. A design will be worked on, with the project due to be completed by 2019. Keith Gipps, Customer Service Director at station operator Govia Thameslink, said, "We are delighted by the announcement by the Department for Transport that Palmer's Green will be made accessible to all our customers. This will make journeys far easier for people with disabilities, as well as those with buggies and heavy luggage. We are very pleased, as this will help continue to deliver improved services for passengers across our wider network."
And now a film review of The Theory of Everything. In Scottish novelist J.M. Barrie's most beloved work, Peter Pan famously contemplates his mortality on Marooner's Rock and observes, "To die will be an awfully big adventure." For more than half a century since he was diagnosed with motor neurone disease, theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking has pushed aside his awfully big adventure and astounded the medical community. Defying the short life expectancy associated with the rare condition, he has married twice, raised a family, and altered our narrow perception of the universe, including the publication of his worldwide bestseller, A Brief History of Time. As Hawking remarked at a press conference in 2006, "However bad life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. While there's life, there is hope." Those inspirational words are repeated verbatim in The Theory of Everything. Based on the memoir Travelling to Infinity by Jane Wilde Hawking, James Marsh's deeply moving drama charts the romance of Stephen, played by Eddie Redmayne, and first wife Jane, played by Felicity Jones, from fleeting glances at a party at mid-1960s Cambridge University through their subsequent battle against motor neurone disease. Love must find a way, and Jane defies everyone, even a pessimistic Stephen, to stand beside her soulmate. "I want us to be together for as long as we've got," she tells him. If that's not very long, then, well, that's just how it is. Her resolve inspires Stephen to continue his search for one single, elegant equation to explain everything. Aided by choirmaster Jonathan Jones, played by Charlie Cox, and carer Elaine Mason, played by Maxine Peake, Jane raises the couple's 3 children and holds their marriage together. The Theory of Everything is anchored by 2 outstanding performances. Redmayne is simply outstanding, astounding, affecting a mesmerising physical transformation that surely warrants an Oscar. Jones is equally compelling as his soulmate, who sacrifices everything in the name of love. The scene in which she finally acknowledges hard-fought defeat to save the relationship and tearfully tells Stephen, "I have loved you, I did my best," is heartbreaking. With its delicate balance of tear-stained drama, deeply felt romance, and comedy, The Theory of Everything hits on a winning formula.
Well, we've reached the end of our programme for this week. Don't forget, your reader's representative, Diane de Jersey, is on 020-8805-6578 if you need any help with the talking newspaper. And please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet, put the cassette into the packet and return it to us as soon as possible so we can send out the next edition. And that will be with you in 1 week's time. So thanks for being with us. I'm sure we all send you the best wishes for the new year. So from me, Malcolm, Angela, Katherine, John and Ian, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.